Welcome to an integrated dynamics tutorial for Minecraft 1.12. Today's video is going to be on building the code snippet you see in the corner of my screen, actually converting that from text to variable cards. And if you're not aware, the official Discord server for this mod, I think they call it the Cyclops Discord server for integrated dynamics, has a really helpful community, and that's where I get a lot of help trying to learn this mod and get code snippets from. And I'm trying to take the snippets and convert them into a video so they're more digestible and just kind of raise awareness. So this particular example is looking at the names of the items, the unique name. So Forestry : B_princess versus drone versus the queen. It's not looking at like the name Forestry Queen. It's looking at the like the item name. If I push F3 and H, advanced tool tips get hidden, and you'll see you don't have that info. So if you don't see it, I highly recommend playing modded Minecraft with advanced tooltips shown, because you get a wealth of information. And then at the end, I'm going to show how to take that function we built that has many cards and materialize it into one card that you can then take to another network, because it might feel overwhelming to go to all this work to make something and then have it break when you try to use it in another network. So this is something that I don't use enough, and I need to also learn to use it more, because it allows you to build functions and then take them elsewhere. You just have to learn how to build the functions in a reusable manner, and that's something I'm still learning and struggling with. So starting off here, I have a list of strings that I need to make. And for this example, I just want to search for drone and for queen. I won't try to filter out princesses. And again, if you have a labeler, you can push the E, string list. Now we have a list of drone and queen for the example. Move this over here. Okay, now for the operators, there's quite a few. There's a contains predicate one, where you give it a list and then you give it an operator and then it returns a Boolean. And I myself am still trying to fully understand all this and with the signatures, but it's really important to be looking at them and understanding, okay, given a list and an operator, you're getting a Boolean from it. So another operator, string contains, given a string and another string, return a Boolean. String contains. Unique name. Unique name. These are all just boring operators. Okay, so now for the next chunk. Instead of actually having to make an operator flip, I believe the way they have it written just means you can just straight up look for flip, and then you plug in string contains, and you flip that. Flip string contains. So I think what's happening here, let's go back and look at string contains, just the definition of it. It's flipping, I think, input 1 and 2 around, if I understand that right. So if the given substring is contained within the given string, basically it's flipping the order of operations between inputs 1 and 2. It's making it basically 2 and 1, which I don't even know if I fully understand. So the next is applying. We will take the contains predicate that's expecting a list and an operator to return a Boolean. We are going to apply the string list to it. And notice how we haven't flipped this one or anything. It's basically, it's expecting a list first and then an operator. That's why the first thing we apply to it has to be a list. You could not apply an operator first and then a list. It has to be in this order. Versus, which one did I make? This flip string contains, where we flipped it, so we're going to kind of do the reverse. So temporary 1. And then if we apply again, and by apply, I actually mean using the pipe operator, which makes a new operator that pipes the output from the first operator to the second operator. And this is something I still struggle with fully understanding. I get the gist of it, but so flip string contains whatever the output of this is, pipe it into temporary 1. Okay, so temporary 2 is made. And then lastly, the predicate, which is piping it all together again. So the unique name is piped into temp2 for the predicate. Cool. And if you were just to look at this, it's probably going to give an error because the variables aren't in the system. So we slap them in. I always try to kind of put them in somewhat of an order that makes sense how I made them. So this piped operator, I believe it's saying, given a unique name, give us a Boolean. So what's basically going to happen is, based off of this string here, drone and queen, it's going to look at what's in here and it's going to decide if it should pass through the tunnel. And if it does, that's the Boolean allowing it to pass. I think it's kind of how you read that. So if we slap this into export based on the predicate, boom. And look at that. This chest has now filled up with drones and queens. And all we have left here is princesses. And again, if I was to throw a queen in here, it should get sucked out right away. And it just took a minute, but it went. So for some basic ideas, if you had a miner where you were mining up, let's say, ores, you could actually have it search for the word ore versus it was also mining up cobblestone, you could have it trashing cobblestone. But now for the materializer. We take this predicate we've built and we stick it in here, it's going to materialize it to this. So now potentially we could take this card and we could actually slap it right here. Nothing's going to happen right away because it's still based off of that old list. But for example, if I was to grab these drones and slap them in here, we would see after it takes a minute to visually update that they've moved. But that's not super useful to me, but what is useful is this is a whole other network and it's basically taken this function we've built and it's compressed it into one. But what you can do is you can say, hey, give me that string list. And once you pull this out, I should stick that predicate. See, it has an error because ID 550 can't be found, which happens to be my string list. If we go back into the logic programmer and we go back to our list, as long as we don't erase this, the variable ID will stay as 550 and it doesn't break my entire function I built. But if I was to erase this and lose that ID and it was to change, then I got big problems. But we can reuse this and it keeps the same ID. So if we go back to string, I could say, hey, you know what? I actually want to search based off of chain mail. Suppose I should check the spelling of that. And boots. Let's say I just really didn't like boots. Make sure that's what the item name is. Minecraft : iron boots, chainmail boots. Like, so you could filter out leather, chainmail or certain types of gear, etc. If we take this out now and we were just to have a look at it, this is now the new list. And as you'd expect, it's still not happy. We throw this in, it's now happy. But what's cool is this predicate that we've built, we can just update this reference, take it, say, you know what? We're actually going to use this filtering over in this network. And now, you see we got all these boots and we got some chainmail pieces. We slap this in there. we've lost the boots and the chainmail, and they've been filtered out. So that's kind of a cool example. It's a bit of a specific use case because there are easier ways to filter things, but hopefully it makes things a little bit clearer, gives you an idea of what you can do with this mod. Thanks for watching.